Cancer almost evolves almost as a separate species from us. All the time provides that sort of fertile soil.
Could your daily eating habits be feeding cancer cells without you even realizing it? Dr. Jason Fung, a leading expert in metabolic health, has uncovered shocking truths about how one common dietary habit may be fueling the growth of cancer. Before we jump into the details, let's talk about Dr. Jason Fung. He's a renowned nephrologist and an expert in fasting, low-carb diets, and metabolic health. Over the years, Dr. Fung has challenged conventional dietary advice by emphasizing how insulin and our eating habits impact diseases like obesity, diabetes, and even cancer. Today, we'll explore how overeating can feed cancer cells and contribute to cancer progression.
The frequency that we eat, that is, eating all the time, provides that sort of fertile soil. So to understand why this is, you have to get back to sort of how cancer develops. So you have to understand that cancer almost evolves almost as a separate species from us. So when you have a breast cancer cell, for example, it originated from a normal breast cell, but after it evolves, it grows or doesn't grow depending on growth factors. And it's almost a separate species from us. That is, it will grow and it won't. The normal breast cell or a normal lung cell, they will do everything to, play on the team, right? So they're always supporting the body. You're a team player. Those cancer cells are not team players. Basically, they're out for themselves. It's the point that this cancer cell now is only interested in its own survival. That is, it will grow, and it will grow at the expense of its neighbor. So it will keep growing and it will destroy everything around it. So it will move around, for example. So a breast cancer cell will move around the body. And that's not for the good of the whole body, right? It's for the good of itself. It's trying to spread itself around. So you got to realize that the cancer cell responds as a foreign organism. And it sounds very strange to say, okay, we have this foreign organism, almost like an infection in us, but that's actually how our body sees that cancer. That is, our immune system actually detects. It's a very powerful, it kills stuff, but it's very powerful. So it has to be reined in because you don't want it destroying, normal parts of the body. So it recognizes certain cells as foreign and certain cells as self. And cancers are actually innately seen as foreign cells. So it is a foreign invader almost that has evolved from us. But during the development of this cancer, it will grow or not grow depending on growth signals. So our body has certain nutrient sensors. So nutrient sensors tells our body when food is available. So when you eat, certain hormones like insulin and mTOR will go up. And that tells our body that food is available, we should grow, right? Because you don't want your cells to grow when there's no food, right? It's just natural. If there's no food, you got to get rid of some of those extraneous cells. So if you're eating all the time and you're always activating these nutrient sensors, you're actually telling your body, grow, 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 grow. So if you eat 6-8 times a day, you're telling your body, your cells in your body, grow, 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 grow.
When we overeat, our bodies receive an excess of nutrients, particularly glucose from carbohydrates. This sudden influx of glucose triggers the release of insulin, a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels. However, insulin is not just a regulator, it also acts as a growth factor. Persistently high insulin levels stimulate the production of insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, a potent molecule that promotes cell growth and division. Cancer cells are especially adept at exploiting this nutrient-rich environment. They utilize a process called the Warburg effect, whereby they prefer glycolysis method of converting glucose into energy even when oxygen is plentiful. This means cancer cells consume glucose at a significantly accelerated rate. Constant overeating provides a steady supply of glucose, effectively fueling the rapid growth and proliferation of these malignant cells.
If you eat fewer times, like 3 times a day, or you do intermittent fasting, if you don't eat at all, what you're going to do is shut down those growth signals, and this cancer will have a more difficult time to grow. So if you grow breast cancer cells in the lab, for example, you can't do it without insulin. It will actually wither up and die. So therefore, if you know that, then you can say, well, and that's one of the secrets is that if you don't eat, like fasting, for example, one is you're going to lower your insulin levels, which will, lower the overall growth signaling in our body, which is a good thing for adults. And adults' growth is not good. Generally, you stay the same size. You don't want to be growing too much, because the growth, a high growth environment, of course, lets the cancer sort of grow out of control.
Moreover, overeating can lead to chronic inflammation and insulin resistance. Inflammation creates an environment conducive to DNA damage and disrupts normal cellular signaling, further increasing cancer risk. Insulin resistance forces the body to produce even more insulin, creating a vicious cycle that continuously supplies cancer cells with growth signals. In summary, overeating creates a metabolic landscape rich in glucose, insulin, and IGF-1, factors that cancer cells can exploit to thrive and multiply. By moderating our food intake and adopting a balanced diet, we can help minimize these risks and support overall metabolic health.
Change the frequency with which you eat, because you can affect both things. So just like if you're, for example, to pay, $10 and you pay it every day, it adds up quickly, right? If you have a coffee every day and it's like, $5 or $7 at Starbucks, every day, it adds up. So just like that, it's not just the amount that you're paying, which is not much, but it's the frequency, right? Same thing with the foods. It's not just the amount that you eat or what it is that you eat, it's how often you eat it. So if you're eating now 6-8 times a day, well, that's a lot worse if you ate once a day, right? That's just basic math. Like, you can't get around that. And the problem is, of course, that if you look at how people eat today compared to sort of 1970, it's very different. So in 1970, people ate 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No snacks. Nobody ate snacks back then. People say it's good for you. People say, oh, you should eat multiple times in the day, 6 times a day. It's good for you. But nobody in the history of humanity has done that before, because we had work to do, right? It's not like your great-grandparents, working in the factory, they're taking off every 2 hours to make themselves a little, ham sandwich or something, right? It was like, there's work to do. You eat when you have time. So, in the 70s, it's funny because I always say you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that was it. If you wanted an after-school snack, your mom said, no, you're going to ruin your dinner. And if you wanted a bedtime snack, she would have said, no, you should eat more at dinner, right?
If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family who might benefit from this knowledge. We'd love to hear your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Your feedback helps us create better content for you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you won't miss our future videos on nutrition and health. Thank you for watching, and remember, every healthy choice you make today can contribute to a better tomorrow. Stay informed, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.